It's a healthy sign that they're moving into principles-based regulation and an active encouragement of water companies to do the right thing, as opposed to prescriptive regulation, which I think is a blocker on innovation and collaboration.
Data can be used for good, and I think we're seeing that, and that's not because of any guidance or PSR. That's because companies are actually thinking about doing the right thing for their customers and looking at that customer service.
Data and data sharing is only as good as what you then actually do with it. Behind all of this is a customer. And so your journeys in welcoming customers to the PSR, inviting customers to understand what it means, and then participating in various other engaging things that they need to do around water and energy is as important as well. So I think a lot of water companies in particular are ready for this. They're building up their plans and strategies and budgets accordingly to grow their PSRs. I think there's nervousness around the volume and the value, but that's in their own, they can own their plans and strategies into how you then accommodate the customer into understanding the PSR.
We need to remember that all of this stuff around data sharing and tell us once, we're trying to solve a human problem, not a technical problem. And if we remember that, we make sure that people lived experience, we make sure that we have people lived experience who are in quotes awkward. Why are they awkward? Because they remind us of uncomfortable truths. And we have them in the room. We should be headed in the right direction. All the pieces, this is the best opportunity in probably 25 years to really make this happen in a way to benefit the consumer. It's in our hands. So we've just got to make sure we take it.
And that's where I think it's important that you're looking to get the most vulnerable customers who really do need the help, maybe the hard to reach customers that understand that this register is here. And if you're part of that register, this is what you can have as help and support. And I think the 50%, we know there's an opportunity there to look for those customers. But I think it's just making customers aware that the PSR is there and that it's going to help people in different ways.
Too often, I think the water industry does have a binary approach, really, to this question of vulnerability, whereby they see financial and non-financial vulnerability as two separate things, and actually need to recognise that they're overlapping Venn diagrams.
We've got to start to make these connections with customers and build these relationships. And I think when something's gone wrong, it's how you deal with it and how you deal with what happens afterwards. We haven't always got it right in the past, I think, as a sector, but it's good to see that there's commitment from some, and we're hoping that will grow as they're working through developing the strategies, that actually it is important to check that if you signed up for something, or actually if you weren't, but you found yourself that you needed something, then that's that conversation again around let's put you on the register now and let's make sure that should anything happen in the future, you'll get that support.
And if you're vulnerable to harm or you're disabled and you rely on these essential services, how do you get the access, the use and the benefit out of them? And why should you have to contact each one in turn just to be able to get on with the everyday essentials of life? It makes no sense whatsoever. And I think everyone's agreed on that and has been agreed on that for years. But let's see whether the appetite is now there to grasp the nettle.
For something that's called the Priority Services Register, which sounds actually quite special and fun, it's actually not that outstanding. That the data that's collected is very much inputs driven. So they ask questions like, how many customers do you have in your PSR? For me, that's not the right question. The right question is, how many customers have received services as a result of being on the PSR that they wouldn't have got otherwise? And what outcomes resulted from that?
You better darn well make sure that you are delivering the support that people get when they are on the PSR. If you're putting all of this investment to check to make sure your data's up to date, that it's accurate, it's relevant, it's timely, the art of keeping your data up to date, and that people's circumstances might have changed, you're getting that updated. If you're going to go to that effort, make sure that you then deliver, because people will talk to one another about whether during the water outage they got the support they required, or during the power outage they got this, or whether you're meeting on a day-to-day basis people's communications needs.
Because all this work, whether it's been the guidance or the standards, it's all about one outcome, which is delivering positive outcomes for customers and improved outcomes. So I think it will really help to do that. And also, it showed that they'd taken on board some of the feedback from the charities that had responded around how they referred to the needs of people and how they referred to the support as well. So it was good to see that it was an overall listening and not just about the standards of the actual eligibility.
What is it that's going to be the best for the consumer? If we're designing this with the consumer in mind, and we want them to have the ability to say what their support needs are, the ability to control and to see where their data is going, and to say, actually, I don't want you to share it with them, but I do want you to share it with them. And if we want people to have the ability to understand how this is going to benefit them in the longer term, we're in a really good place. But we can defer that decision, keep working on our platforms and our projects, or we can think about how we build the bridges across. And that's what I'm hoping that we do next. Bridges, not walls.